Welcome back to my channel. Today, instead of going over teams and going over games and stuff like that, I am going to be discussing the NCAA rule change that now CHL players, or Canadian Hockey League players from the Ontario Hockey League, the Western Hockey League, and the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League. Those players who have played in those leagues can now go to the NCAA, which is the U.S. college league. And this is going to shake things up big time. It's going to shake things up for different junior leagues, and it's going to shake up the pipeline for for young guys who want to go to the NHL. So this is going to benefit some leagues, and this is going to really hurt some other ones. The leagues I'm going to be talking about is the CHL, or the Canadian Hockey League, the USHL, which is the USA Hockey League, BCHL, which is the British Columbia Hockey League, and then I'm going to talk about the US National Team Development Program and how this is going to impact each one of those leagues, or for the US National Team Development Program, that team, and how this is all gonna shake out. And keep in mind, we're not really gonna know the full effect of this change for next few years. It will become more clear. So first, let's talk about the league that this mainly impacts, which is the Canadian Hockey League. And I believe that this is good for the players. This is good for them to continue on with their hockey journey, and this is good for them to show that they still have it, because some players just peak later, and when they're in like major junior, they don't necessarily get to show scouts or NHL teams what they're truly made out of. And where with the rule, it was that major junior players were considered as professionals, which is not really true, even though that players, depending on the league, would get like $250 like a month. That's for the Western League. I don't know what it is for the other ones, if it's the same or not, but they get $250 a month. Yeah, they're getting paid, but at the same time, it's not like they're getting thousands of dollars. And it's junior at the end of the day. These guys are still relatively amateurs. So for that reason, they weren't allowed in the NCAA. However, as we now know, that had changed with a vote back in, I think it was October, I believe, or November, back in 2020, like late 2024. And as a result of that, we've seen a list of players from major junior committing to colleges. And we saw this mainly in the beginning from like overagers and 19-year-olds who were like, all right, I think I've completed everything I can in this league. I'm gonna move on. So, but we've gotten some commitments from some younger players. In the last few days, it was committed or confirmed that Jackson Smith of the Tri-City Americans, who is projected to be a top 15 or top 10 pick in this upcoming draft, he's an 07 by the way, is committed to Penn State and is going to be playing there next season. So this kind of leads me to like my theory of what's going to happen with the Canadian Hockey League. I think that it's just going to get younger. It's going to get younger with some players, with some older players who either aren't good enough to go to college or don't feel like that they're ready for college yet. So yeah. And the Victoria Royals, they're gonna lose Cole Rushney to, forget what, I think he's a Penn State commit as well, and his teammate Keaton Verhoff, who is an 08, I'm pretty sure, also committed to Penn State. I think he's staying in Victoria for one more season though, because that's just how like the age stuff would all work out. So all in all, I think that the Canadian Hockey League will be fine. They're gonna get younger. There's gonna be more diversity. I think that there's gonna be more Americans that come to the Canadian Hockey League, which isn't a bad thing. We already saw it this past season where there were some 18-year-olds in college who said, you know what, I'm not getting the ice time here that I need, so I'm just going to go to the Canadian Hockey League where I know that I'm going to get the ice time and I know that I'm going to be a contributor. There's a guy from the University of Michigan, I think it was Humphreys, but I could be wrong, who made the jump mid-season and just to the Ontario Hockey League where he played for the Kitchener Rangers, and he did pretty well there with the more ice time and the ability to be more creative, because in my opinion, at least from what I've seen, college is a whole lot more structured. Like, there are a whole lot more to the system, where with major junior, it's more of like, yeah, go be creative and go dance around people. Another person I think is going to be going to the NCAA next year, Gavin McKenna, because I think because he's not draft eligible for this draft. If he was, he would be number 1, I believe. He's a 2026 draft class person. And so, yeah, I think that he's going to the NCAA next year because I think he's completed all that he can in major junior, minus the whole Memorial Cup thing. But I think that you can say, hey, I won my league. I think I can move on. But I've never been in that situation, so take everything I say with a grain of salt. Anyway, so that's it for kind of my views of what the CHL is going to look like. I think that out of the next 3 that I'm going to mention, they're probably going to benefit the most from this change. And yeah, so next up we have the USHL, which I believe is going to shrink, because the USHL and the BCHL, in my opinion, are really similar. Their appeal was, if you want to go to college, come to us. Now, they don't have that appeal of like, oh, you can still go to college. Now the Canadian Hockey League has that appeal of, you can come and play at the highest junior league and you can still go to college. So I think that the USHL and the BCHL, I'm going to just group them together for this one, will shrink. I think that the appeal of them has become less appealing since the change. I think they're gonna be seen more as more like as a B level instead of like an A level, but that's just my opinion. Yeah, so I don't think that they're going to be good leagues anymore, because if a kid wants to go to college, he's like, where can I play that will have the most attention, and Major Junior at the moment does. So yeah, that's kind of it for them. There has been talks about the USHL joining the CHL and becoming another league, so instead of just like the three leagues in the CHL, there's going to be the USHL in there, and they'll participate in the Memorial Cup and stuff like that. So that tournament would go from 4 teams to 5 teams. I personally would not mind that. I would it'd be interesting to see more American integration into the CHL, because there are some good players coming from America. This leads me to the next. They're more so a team more than a league. The U.S. National Team Development Program. I don't know what's going to happen with that system and those teams. For those who don't know, the National Team Development Program, or the USNTDP, is a program where only American-born players can go to, and they are a team that they play against college level, or they play against colleges, they play against the USHL, and all of the best Americans go to that team. That being a lot of the Americans that you see nowadays in the NHL came from that team. So Will Smith, Cutter Gauthier, Rucker McGroarty, Logan Cooley, and a lot more. So the U.S. World Junior team is mainly just built by that program. And that's what the program was built for. They saw that they were sucking in the World Juniors, so we're going to just make a team dedicated to dominating that tournament. It, in the last 2 years, has worked. Yeah, so I think that they're going to lose a few players to Major Junior just because of the appeal of Major Junior, but at the same time, I think that the program has built itself to being this credible program where great talent comes out of there. So it's proven that it's got the development. Maybe the program grows from, instead of just playing against college and USHL, they play a few games against Major Junior teams. I don't know how that would work with the ages and stuff, because that would be 20-year-olds playing against 17-year-olds, but I think that would be an interesting avenue for both parties to explore. So that's kind of my breakdown of how each kind of junior league, or in the NTDP's case, team or program is going to fare. I it's uncertain times right now. I think that for CHL players, it's gonna be a new opportunity for them to continue their playing careers. And another league I didn't talk about in here was the U Sports, or Canada's college, or its university circuit. I think that that's just gonna get weaker. I think it's, or if they find a way to partner with the NCAA, where they have a Canadian like division and then like all their typical American divisions or like conferences and stuff like that, then that would be interesting. But I think that the U Sports line in quality and stuff like that. And you may see some good U Sport players go to the NCAA because they're like, well, I played major junior, and now they're allowing like major junior players to go there, so maybe I'll jump ship and go to college in the US. I don't know like if the level would be enough for some players to make that jump, but who knows. Yeah. So all in all, I think this is a huge benefit to the players. Some leagues not so much, but yeah. But one problem that has come up for some CHLers is the fact that they have the skill to go to college, but they don't necessarily have the grades or the credits or the courses to go to some of those colleges, which I don't blame the players for because they've never had to think about it. But I think that education in the CHL is definitely going to become more of like a priority and become more of like something that's talked about and is going to be like built better. So yeah, just one little thing that may stop some players for going to college because they don't have the grades, which is kind of unfortunate, but at the same time, I don't blame them. They've never had to think about it, as I said before. So yeah, that's my thoughts, my opinions of how each team is going, or program or league is going to fare with this rule change. So I want to know what your thoughts are. Let me know. Do you think that this change is going to significantly impact a certain league, or do you think it's going to be a detriment to some leagues? Do you think that the CHL is going to like drop off a cliff or something like that? Let me know all your hot takes down in the comments. But I think that's going to do it for this one. I would like to say thank you for watching and listening to me rant about this. And yeah, comment, subscribe, like, all the things so you can let YouTube know you like this content and videos so it's pushed to more people. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.